All right, let's cut right through the hype around artificial intelligence. Forget the crazy headlines for a minute, because today we're going to dig into what's really just around the corner. So I'm sure you've wondered this. We've all messed around with these tools, getting them to write an email or settle a bet. But is that it? Is this whole revolution just about building a fancier Q&A machine? Well, the answer to that is a hard no. The game is changing, and it's changing fast. AI is shifting gears, moving way beyond just giving you answers. It's becoming an active partner, kind of like a co-pilot that's ready to grab the controls and take action for you. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at AI's next big evolution. Then, we'll peek under the hood at the tech making it happen. We'll get real about the growing pains like cost and trust, zoom out to the global AI race, and finally, we'll bring it all back to what it means for you and your future. Okay, let's jump right in with that huge shift. We are literally watching AI evolve from a passive tool that just responds to an active one that actually gets things down. And this quote right here, it nails it. This is a really big deal. We're not just talking about getting better answers. An intelligent agent is a system that doesn't just know stuff, it can actually plan things out, use other tools, and carry out really complex tasks all by itself. You can actually see this evolution happen in steps. First, AI had to get really good at language, right? Then, it learned to see, hear, and express itself with images and sound. Now, we're in the reasoning phase, where it's developing logic. But the next frontier, the final step, is true creation. The ability to go out and discover new things on its own, kind of like a digital scientist making breakthroughs. And this all leads to a mind-blowing concept: embodied intelligence. What we're talking about is giving AI a body, letting it interact with the physical world through things like robotics. Think about it. It's the difference between an AI describing how to build a chair and an AI that actually guides a robot to build the thing. So you're probably asking, how is any of this even possible? How are we making this giant leap? Well, let's pop the hood and look at the core tech that's driving all this. For years, this thing called the transformer architecture was king, but it had a massive problem. The more data you fed it, the costs would just explode. But now, brand new architectures are completely changing the game. Things like RWK, or Mixture of Experts, MOE for short. They're built from the ground up to be super efficient. This is what lets AI process gigantic amounts of information, like an entire movie or a massive code library, without those insane costs. And it's not just the architecture that's evolving, it's how these AIs actually learn. We started out with humans basically hand-holding the AI, telling it what a good answer was. Then we got smarter and started using one AI to teach another, which is way faster and cheaper. But now we're heading into this wild era of self-evolution, where AIs learn by playing against themselves, just like AlphaGo did, and they end up discovering strategies no human ever would have dreamed of. Now, of course, all this incredible progress doesn't just happen magically. It comes with some serious challenges. And the two biggest ones we have to face are staggering costs and the critical problem of trust. So let's start with cost. I'm talking about energy costs. It's something we don't really think about, but running these giant AI models takes a shocking amount of power. Just a couple of years ago, data centers and AI were already using 2% of all the electricity on the entire planet. And that is just skyrocketing. The projections are frankly hard to wrap your head around. By 2026, the AI industry all by itself could be using as much electricity as the entire country of Japan. I mean, that's not just a budget problem. That's an environmental and infrastructure crisis waiting to happen. But there is some really good news here, and it's coming from pure innovation. Because of those new architectures and training methods we were just talking about, the efficiency gains are just incredible. The cost to train a top-of-the-line model has dropped by a factor of 1,000 in just 2 years. This is the green AI revolution, and it is absolutely vital to make sure this tech is sustainable. So beyond the cost, you have the other huge problem, trust. How do we make sure these things are safe? Well, one of the coolest ideas out there is something called constitutional AI. Basically, instead of a person having to fix every little mistake, you give the AI a set of rules, its constitution, and you teach it how to judge itself. It's about building safety in from the start, instead of just trying to patch problems later on. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. All this tech innovation isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening inside a really intense global competition that's being shaped by politics and, the realities of the market. You've basically got two heavyweights in the ring, the US and China. And they are playing completely different games. The US strategy is all about building the biggest, most powerful models and then controlling the whole ecosystem through APIs and hardware, basically setting the rules for the rest of the world. China, on the other hand, is focused on building its own self-reliant system driven by real-world applications, massive amounts of data, and a really strong push for open-source tech. At the same time, the market is finally starting to grow up. A year ago, the biggest question anyone asked was, "Wow, how cool is your demo?" Today, now that the hype is cooling down, there's only one question that really matters. What's the ROI? Can your AI actually make my business money or save me money? Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all. What does this all mean for us, for you and me? How do we not just survive, but actually thrive in this new world? Look, AI isn't here to just get rid of jobs. It's here to reshape them. Yeah, jobs that are super repetitive and standardized are definitely at risk, but a whole new category of jobs is popping up, and these roles are all about humans and AI working together. We're talking about AI trainers, product managers who live and breathe AI, or even doctors and lawyers who use AI to become superheroes at what they do. So how do you build your own personal moat in this new world, your unique advantage? It really comes down to a mix of four things: getting good with the actual AI tools, having deep, deep knowledge of a specific industry, always thinking about business value and ROI, and most importantly, just being able to learn and adapt constantly. And at the end of the day, this quote just says it all. The real fight isn't going to be humans versus machines. It's going to be between the people who learn how to use these incredible new tools and the people who don't. So, let's leave you with this final thought. We have to completely reframe the conversation. The question isn't, is AI going to take my job? The real question is, how am I going to use AI to completely redefine what I do? Because this isn't some threat we should be scared of. It's a massive opportunity we need to grab. An opportunity to amplify our skills and our value in ways we're only just starting to figure out.